Welcome to episode 3 of the She Is Instacast tour. We'll be talking to people from all over the world, from all walks of life, about Black unity, family structure, and solutions to common problems. This is my Black and beautiful co-host, Paulette Jones. I'm your Black and peaceful host, Booker Brazil. Let's talk that Black talk. Our guest is Ashleigh Morris.
Yes, the Black and bald head for sure.
All the way from Canada. It's a story about that and the podcast. You in a relationship right now?
No.
Single mingle?
Yeah. I've been single for
Are you looking right now, or are you just enjoying like your time alone?
I'm not looking. I don't think I'm not mentally capable, but I don't think I'm ready to be in a relationship yet. Because I'm not fully like 100% healed myself from my past, my trauma, like my relationship with my mother, and I bring that in. I know you're not about to cry, bitch. And what are you doing? We're not crying. Okay, my bad, y'all. But yeah, like I noticed that I bring that when I date people, because I like been through like a whole. All right, I'm good now. My bad. I don't know what was happening. Like,
all right, sometimes let it go.
I'm like, damn, bitch, why did you cry? I'm about to cry. Like, nah, but I realized like sometimes, not like now or anything, but like recently, like I will like use my past like against like the person that I'm with, because it's like, oh, well, they did this, you might do it too. Or it's like if they did do something that kind of reminded me of like something that I've been through that was like a trigger or something like traumatic, then and if I decided to like forgive them, I'd have the bad habit of like keep bringing it up, like not every day, but like every time we would get into it, like I can be honest about that. I'll bring that up because it's like at the end of the day, like I never realized like I was still hurt about it. I just thought I was just bringing it up just because like I was just trying to be petty, but it's like no, it really bothers me. So I'm not looking. I mean, even when I don't look and the shit falls in my lap, the shit be weird. So I just be like, I don't know, like, what is it? I'm not looking, and then somebody comes and I'll be like, no. And then I'm like, oh, just give them a chance. And then, no. So, girl, I don't know. I'm going to get like a dog or something. I don't know.
I got you.
But yeah, I have done that. So I wouldn't even want to. And then I'm older now, so how would I look 28 going back and forth about like stupid stuff over some shit that happened last time or like the last time or the last time? It's like, nah, I would rather heal myself first and like figure me out. Like, girl, you a bad bitch, love yourself, whatever the case may be. And then if someone comes in my line, then I'll be more able to discern whether or not that they might be on some bullshit or not, instead of just being like, oh my God, they were so nice to me and no one was ever nice to me like this before, so I'm gonna just fuck with them. And it's like,
right.
No.
Same person.
Yeah.
Does submission eliminate equality in a relationship?
That one. Submitting is not really, I don't think anything's wrong with it, or I wouldn't look at it like, oh, I feel less than, because I would want to. Like, I feel like you should want to do that to your partner or for your partner or whatever, simply because it's like if they make you feel loved and if they're doing everything for you, not as far as like money, just that, but just making you feel reassured or making you feel like, you know, you don't have anything to worry about. You can wake up peacefully, go to sleep, not having everything is good, then why wouldn't I want to go above and beyond for you as you make me feel like reassured and loved and cared about? So it's like, I don't think it means that.
So basically you're talking about like compromising.
Yeah.
I think,
to be honest, I really feel like that's really what it is. But when people hear the word submission, they're like, oh my God, like, you want me to do what? Like, yeah, like, no, it's not, I don't see it that way. You should want to submit to your partner if they give you a reason to want to do that.
Right.
I feel like, speak for myself.
I think that comes from people not having anything to give in the beginning. You know, because you're gonna hold on to whatever you have if
that's true.
You don't want to submit or compromise.
Right, because you would feel like, well, if I do this, then I just give up everything that makes me me. But then in that case, it's like, why go into a I don't feel like you should enter a relationship if you don't have anything to, like give and take.
Yeah, like
Because I don't feel like like don't get in a relationship feeling like, oh, I'm not gonna do this because, like this is just how I always am. Like I'm not, and it's like, so why are you even trying to date? Like that's how I just look at it. But that makes sense though. People are like that. Well, I worked so hard to do this. I came from this type of situation. I don't want to have to do that with somebody. But I mean, that also goes to say, like, don't compare your future or your present with your past, even though that's difficult because I've done that before. Like, oh, this happened to me before, so I'm gonna just have my wall up or whatever. But it's like, that's not helping me. So
yeah, you definitely can't. You definitely can't let your past like control your future. Like learn from it, but you can't let it like always control where you going, because you're gonna end up back where you learned that lesson at. You're gonna be learning that lesson all over again.
I know that now. I know that's what you was eating. I knew it.
Okay, well, I would have to agree and say that as long as both individuals are coming into the relationship, most of the time, the word submission is brought in when you're talking about a marriage, not even necessarily a relationship. Yeah. But I would say that as long as everybody is doing their part in reassurance and making the other person feel special and keeping them on that, that higher level of appreciation in the relationship, then I definitely don't see the problem for it. I feel like the issue that submission can cause is when maybe the superior partner does not, show that appreciation or that value for the other person, or maybe if they, how can I put this? Because and it just depends on the generation. Because like with our generation, we a whole new generation. We're not like our mamas and our grandmamas.
We ain't dealing with no struggling shit.
We expecting a certain like some of the stuff that our mamas and grandmamas and big mama and them put up with is we ain't having it. Like it's like I'm not flying this way. Like you think you about to come home to a cooked meal, then you better walk in with the next 3 months of rent. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like we're a whole different breed, so it's different for us. But I feel like it was easier back in the day because back in the day, it was strictly one person stayed at home to take care of the kids, the wife did, and then the husband went out with the breadwinner. But nowadays, with everything in society and how much stuff is costing and all, that's not the same. So it's like instead of having that one-sidedness to a relationship and to a home, it's like we both sharing, responsibility. Yeah. And with that, I feel like depending on the age of the superior person in the relationship, maybe they'll still have the mindset of, my spouse needs or my partner needs to submit to me, but the circumstances are not the same, if that makes sense. So
that makes sense. I never even put like I said, into it. That definitely makes sense.
That's how I feel. And I feel like I said, like if you got somebody that has a more mature mindset and they, they're trying to live strictly by the Bible, the woman stays home, take care of the kids, and then go out to work. Then cool, he can have his meal prepared, he can have his bathroom, he can have his clothes washed every single night, blah 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 blah. But when mama and daddy is working, then mama shouldn't be the only one still cooking dinner and running baths. Like so, like being submissive and still making sure that the wifely duties are being done when this is not a common or old school relationship. You get me? So I feel like depending on the situation with that, as well as the people's mindsets too. So like, once again, I think it kind of goes back into having older people in a relationship. They probably still feel like, certain things need to be done a certain way. Certain people have certain responsibilities in the relationship versus we share responsibilities.
I was listening to, I forgot what I was listening to, and the girl was saying the guy was saying I'm dating this girl and she just doesn't basically do what he wants her to do. She's like young, she was way younger than him, but she's like, a free spirit or whatever. And he's like, and they're like, well, did you know that when you met her? Like, what would you expect her to be, to turn around and be a traditional housewife? She's 22. Like, you should have dated somebody that was almost
22
up there.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Like he was like 35, I think, and he's like, I just don't understand why. And then the girl is like, well, you knew how she was when you met her, so you can't expect her to just automatically put on a fucking bonnet and a house coat and be making pancakes. Like, no, she want to go out and have fun with her friends. Like,
I wanted to touch on something you said. You said word. You said superiority.
The
superior individual, right? So, so I'm gonna use marriage because I'm married. So for me, I speak on like my situation. So in a marriage, mostly in a marriage, based by the Bible and everything, or the old school method, the man is. I'm not gonna say necessarily the superior one, but the man is the one that's supposed to be like the head of the household. He is the leader. He's in charge. He's top dog.
Now, the dynamic can turn if the woman the energies can't fight if the woman is naturally an alpha woman. So if you got an alpha woman that's staying at home, take care of the kids, and the guy is more of what is it? What's the opposite? Like beta?
Yeah.
If he's more of the beta type, more submissive type, and he got the role of the the one in charge, how does that dynamic work? Like, is it gonna be some clashing going on? Is the alpha woman gonna be trying to tell him how to move, but then he trying to call shots? Do you think that would mess up the dynamic, the energies in the house? Because she's trying to tell you what you should be doing, but he like, I know what to do because I'm the one that's bringing in the bread and the butter.
Okay, with that, that can put some type of not stress, frustration on a relationship. But what I think they both have to do, it can change simply because, like, for example, perfect. Okay, my parents, right? My mom is the alpha female. My dad is a beta male. Like, nothing wrong with that. He's just more like chill. My mom's like, and he's just like, meh, whatever. So I think what my mom had to realize, even with her, because my parents aren't together anymore, but even with her current boyfriend now, my mom's always been like super headstrong. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do what I want to do because I pay the bills. I do everything, right? So I think with that, I think you just kind of have to not change your whole self, but you eventually, because it's like, damn, no guy wants to talk to a girl that's like always like, no, you need to do that. Like, girl, let me be a man. Like, relax. Like, chill, man. Like, relax. Like, so I think it can be like put frustration on a relationship if she's not willing to not change, but just kind of dial back some and let her man just kind of, because naturally he's not going to be like, oh, no, babe, I got it. But if he is trying to be like that, then girl, just, you at a 10, we just want you at a 4. Just let him just come out of his shell a little bit, maybe everybody's not, headstrong like that. I don't think so. I feel like it could cause tension on a relationship if both parties aren't willing to, like I said, not change, but just kind of tweak some things.
I don't like not being in control. So in that aspect, I'm definitely alpha because I'd rather be driving. I'd rather be in control. Like I be fidgety when I'm not in control, but I'm also laid back and I'm not aggressive. So I tend to attract and be attracted to alpha women.
Wait, can I just say something really quick? Can I just I want to add on. Sometimes guys like that. They like alpha females. I just want to throw that out there because I was saying, sometimes turn it back a little bit, whatever. But sometimes you don't even got to turn it back. You could just be full on 100 strong black woman, whatever the case may be. And your man is just like, that is my boo.
So the skill that men have to learn with alpha women is to learn how to disarm. You have to learn how to disarm an alpha female because they can get defensive if you're trying.
I was about to say even more alpha, like
because you're trying to take control. So you gotta kind of calm them down, but still let them know that they got control. But it's like, let me take that. Let me get this up off you because you're being a little extra right now. But I still love you. You still good. I still got you. but you being a little much for me right now, and I got this. Chill out. I got this. So it's like the skill of disarming alpha.
Yeah.
That's why men can't handle a lot of black women, because most black women are alphas.
Facts.
Whether they laid back or
not,
they
or
calm or
super competent or whatever.
You know, you meet the most shy black woman, but you come across her in a way, she gonna turn straight into alpha. It's actually rare that I see a beta black woman, to be honest. Because even the shy ones, when I get to talk to them and they open up, I be like, oh, you alpha for sure. You just got the extroverted alphas and the introverted alphas, but most of them are alphas. If the skill that black men need to learn is to learn how to disarm them, because you can disarm a black woman and they will chill out. You just have to be very articulate and with emotions, though, because coming at them logically, and they gonna be like, well, I feel like this. So you kind of gotta break their emotions down strategically so they can understand.
Well, I feel like,
yeah, it's like, well, babe,
that's me.
This is gonna cause this to happen. This is gonna cause this to happen. But I feel like I need to do this. It's like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about logic. No, I'm talking about emotion, though. I feel like this, so I'm gonna do this. So now you gotta kind of, organize them a little bit.
Nah, that's true. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
How would you try to explain to an alpha man to disarm or deal with an alpha woman?
An alpha man dealing with an alpha woman?
Right.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, you gotta, I guess they would both have to know that they being too much at once. I feel like if it's the alpha man, alpha woman, somebody gotta be, whichever one is, don't lead with emotion first, gotta be the one to calm the situation down. So whichever the one is less alpha a little bit, they probably gotta be the one to kind of dial it back a little bit. Or somebody gotta relax. Because one person not gonna let up. Yeah, the man, period, can't lead his marriage, his household directly off of impulse, because you gotta steer your ship the right way. You gotta kind of plan ahead. If you're acting off emotion, then you and your woman is acting the same way. So who's steering the boat?
What if they both don't lead with emotion? What if they both logical and shit? They both just got an attitude with each other and they both want to be stubborn.
That's some sharp ass tongues right there. They're gonna be cussing each other out so logically. So you been in a situation like that before? Because from my experience, I know you headstrong. I know you alpha woman.
I am an alpha woman, and I am currently married to an alpha man. That's what I was asking. It's real. Yeah.
So y'all be having them logical disagreements.
Who's the emotional one?
I would say I'm the more emotional one. He's very logical. Like, he's like you. He can, depending on the situation. Well, most of the time he can take himself out of a situation and look at it, from a different perspective. And I don't know how to do that. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know how to remove myself from something and look at it from a different perspective. Like, I have, which he likes to say all the time. But there's two sides to me. There's a black side and there's a white side. Ain't no grayscale. Like, ain't nothing in between. Ain't no possibility. It's either gonna be this way or it's gonna be this way. Like, that's it.
Right.
Ain't no maybe, but okay, comma, nothing. No, it's interesting.
Well, it's a reflection of you, because usually your partner is a reflection of you.
I will say that I can honestly say that we make up for each other's differences. Like, wherever he's weak, I'm strong. Wherever I'm weak, he's strong. So it's just that sometimes, I can be very headstrong and make it a little difficult.
It's fine. It's okay. It wouldn't be worth it if it weren't a little difficult attached to it. It's
right.
I actually started my first therapy session this Friday. My first step.
Hey.
Yeah, I know.
That was my next question.
I had been thinking about it for a long time. And like I definitely been thinking about it recently, especially like this year and last year, because I listened to a lot of like anything that got to do with like Charlamagne on it, I listened to, because I like his growth is something that I just admire so much. Because a lot of people be like, oh my God, you like him, he's this and this and that. And I'm like, girl, that was like 10 years ago. Like, he is mental health Black king now. Like, you still gonna hold the man accountable for some shit that he said like 50 years ago. So like, he actually was one of the reasons why I decided, I'm like, you know what, let me just take it seriously. Let me just take that step. Let me just make a call, have a little consultation or whatever. And the lady that I found, which is so funny because she's actually on the same street as me. I just moved downtown like in August, and she's literally down the street. I was like, and she's Black.
Hey,
but,
I feel all Black people need a Black therapist. A lot of Black people, most Black people are traumatized. I'm gonna tell you how I know. So I used to drive school buses.
Oh, cool.
I would drive to the suburban neighborhoods. I can tell just by the demeanor of the kids that's getting on a bus that they haven't went through anything traumatizing, because they are so like obedient, like they listen, like you don't have to yell at them. It's not really like a struggle, and it throws me off because it's like I don't think that's right, but I don't think that's right because I'm traumatized. So something wrong with me. It's not nothing wrong with you. You're actually really good. You're fine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm looking at them like it's something wrong, but it's not. It's really something wrong with me. And everybody in the vicinity is like really seem like they're really balanced, but it don't seem like it's anything traumatizing going on in the area. And then when I drive back to Detroit, you see a lady walking down the street that's just like, she off one, and all I see is pain. So looking at all of these people like that growing up, I realized like I got like secondhand trauma. You know what I'm saying? Looking at these people along with my own trauma, and then on TV, every Black person is being killed. That's traumatizing.
I don't even be on social media like that. Like on Instagram, I post like once a year on my birthday.
So it's impossible for a white person that haven't gone through the same trauma that we going through to tell you about how you supposed to be moving. Cause it's like, you don't really know.
You ain't never went through anything.
Like,
so how you going?
You probably give me some good advice, but it's like to apply that to my life is like it's not really applicable for real.
Yeah, we're not looking at it through the same lenses. Like,
yeah, so I want to get therapy too. It's my dark ass. I think it's gonna be fun.
Fun.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Like I'm be crying like, oh my God, I'm crying. Yes, this is beautiful.
I feel like that's how I'm gonna be. Except I'm just like, I'm like, do I just come in and like lay it all out on the table? Like,
right.
That's the thing I'm scared about. I don't want her to be like, well, shit, you got a lot of shit going on. Like, I know I've held it in for like 20 years, man. Like, it's time to get it out before I
remember you in high school being really sensitive.
I'm still sensitive.
Super happy, upbeat people. Got like that side, that hold a lot in. I remember you crying over something. I think it was at the hotel party. Remember the hotel party we had the Comfort Inn?
And we all got drunk, and that girl got beat up in a corner.
Oh my God!
Who was that?
I don't know.
She got beat up in the corner by the lamp, by the bed, in between the wall and the dresser. I mean, the wall and the wall and the nightstand. I'm like,
oh my God! I think you have brought in. Remember that's when the Nouveau was out, and he was getting drunk off the Nouveau.
Who did I make? You went and got that bottle for me. I don't know how. Was it you?
I was 18. No, was I? Yeah, I know I had got everybody hotel because I was the only one that was 18.
We was all taking pictures with it. Like,
I got like 3 hotels. I think I got the hotel for Isaiah. I got our hotel, and I think Montreal was in that hotel too. I had got like 2 or 3 hotels. That was dumb because they would have messed up a hotel. That would have been on me.
Yeah. And that was that night. Somebody ended up giving us one of their hotels. It was some niggas. They was like, oh, we about to leave early. We don't even need it, huh? Y'all could have the keys. And Chester was like, shit, give me that key. I'm like, ghetto. Like,
black and ghetto. Like,
I'll take it.
Hey, that was the first night I got drunk.
That was the first night I got drunk. I had came home and I was talking to my mom. I was like, yeah, mom, blah, blah, blah. She's like, this was my mouth. She's like, you been drinking? I'm like, of course not.
Looking dumb.
Looking dumb as hell. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I just had so much fun.
In trouble with you. Like, get out my face.
Yeah. She was like, girl, go in your room. I was like, but I had fun though. She was like, clearly.
Oh my God. That was funny. I ended up in the hallway with no shirt on.
Whose hallway?
The Comfort Inn hallway.
Oh.
I was sitting in the hallway with no shirt on.
I never heard about that.
Yeah. Oh man.
Remember when me, you, and Chester and Kendall went to? Wait, was that you or was that me, Chester and Kendall? I think it was you. We went to go see Paranormal Activity.
I don't think that was me.
Are you sure?
It could have been. I remember seeing the movie.
I don't know. I just know at the end of the movie, Chester and Kendall, and Chester's foot was broke. He was trying to run down the stairs because they were scared with the crutches. And I think it was me and you that was just sitting in there like, why are y'all running?
I remember that. I
vaguely probably.
Yeah.
We went to the Star by my house because I stayed on 12 Mile Northwest.
Yeah, because that was across the street from my house.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's where when I first met you, that's your house. You told me your name was Rico, and I'll never forget that.
I told you then my name was Rico.
Yeah, when I first met you, Chester introduced us. He was like, yeah, this Ashleigh, whatever she knew at our school. Blah, blah, blah. He was like, you was like, oh yeah, what up? My name Rico. I was like, oh, hey,
I want to say it though.
And they was like, that's not his name. And I was like, oh, it's not. You were like, my name is Rico. I'm like, well, Rico it is. All right. That nigga spun around in his chair like, yeah, what up? My name Rico. I was
like, little Rico play. I had to say it.
Hey man,
so much personality. You spun around like, yeah.
For real?
Yes. You was in a chair just like that. We came downstairs. We was in your basement because this one used to do the music in your basement, the studio thing. Me and Chester came down because we was kind of kicking it, and I had just got to Lathrop, and he was like, yeah, she knew or whatever. And he introduced us, and he was like, this is my friend. He was like, nah. I guess he was about to say your name, but no, you just spun around like, nah, my name Rico. What's up? How you doing? I'm like, hey. How are you? Like,
man, Rico came.
But it was the spin for me because when we came in, you were facing the computer, so your back was toward me. You just spun around so smooth, like, yeah, what up? My name Rico. I said, hello. How are you? My name's Ashleigh. Like,
yeah, you was real like upbeat and shy.
Right, I'm ratchet now.
So, Ashleigh, how did you get to Canada?
I deported there, but yeah, that took a left turn.
Why I asked that is because I remember a picture of you going around that you was missing.
I was not missing. I was in immigration jail.
Oh.
Another segue. Okay, so how did that happen? I'm trying to sum it up because it's a long story. So basically, okay, I'm not born. I don't know if I ever told you, I'm Jamaican by birth. Like my whole family is Jamaican. I was born in St. Andrews.
Yeah.
But I'm also a Canadian citizen. When we left Jamaica, we moved to Canada, and I've been a citizen since I was like fucking 4. Like, so I have dual citizenship, Jamaican, Canadian. Remember that. So when my mom and I moved to the States, I was like 7 or 8, I think. So I had been living in Michigan for like a long time, but I was undocumented. So what that means is basically it don't necessarily mean that you get in the country illegally, because we just drove across the border. It was before 9/11, so you only needed your ID to cross the border. Yeah. You ain't need a passport and all this other bullshit. So, I had been living there. Like, I ended up going to school with schools there in the States or whatever. Well, I don't know about other states, but I know in Michigan, because people was like, oh, well, because technically I didn't exist, which means I didn't have a social security number. So they're like, well, how the fuck did you go to school if you ain't had no social? I'm like, well, elementary and to middle school and high school, you don't need a social because it's just regular school. You just need transcripts. So that's why I had been going to school for a long time. Now, college is a different story because you need this and this and that, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, long story short, so March, I was coming home from the club. I was drinking and driving, got pulled over, spent the night in jail. Boom, I'm thinking it's over because I did go to court. I paid myself I paid my bail. I paid all my fees because I used to dance. So I just was making money like that. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll pay that shit, whatever. Y'all want me to go to AA? Okay, cool, whatever. Y'all want me to come get drug tested every week? All right, fine. That was in March. So I'm doing the shit that I'm supposed to be doing, thinking I'm cool. I done paid off all my shit. My court appointed lawyer was like, oh, well, you seem like you got money to pay for everything. So you fine. Just go to all your classes and do everything and you good. I'm like, yeah, I ain't tripping, whatever, like that. May, remember, that was March 24th, okay. And then here comes May 16th, my first day of actual probation. I went to the courthouse, which was in Brownstown. And I was coming out of my first day of probation, like, yeah, I'm finna go to Coney and get some breakfast and then go to work, whatever, like that. I know a song I'm about to jam to on my way back to the city. Homeland Security is walking up like, are you Ashleigh Morris? I'm like, maybe. I'm like,
who asked you?
Right? Like, I'm like, Homeland Security? What the fuck did I do? I'm like, yeah. They like, we gotta take you. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Because I ain't know about the answer, but I ain't want to lie because it was so off guard. Yeah. If I would have tried to lie, it would have been like,
what you gonna do, run?
Stop playing.
Right, what you gonna do, run?
Right, like, oh God. So I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, we gotta take you to, what is it called? What's the damn thing downtown where they take all the damn foreign people? It's a jail that they take all the foreigners to. It's like downtown, some shit. The ice place. Mm-hmm. So they're like, yeah, we gotta take you there. You know, we have it. Like, you came over the country, you've been living here. We don't know how you got over here. Blase. That's pretty much what it was. It wasn't even. I mean, I guess it was for my drinking and driving, but because the guy was like, well, you wouldn't have got caught if you didn't, because this was around the time that Obama was president. Mm-hmm. So he had passed this bill where if you was living in America from the age of 16 and older, like if you're 22, but if you've been living in America since you were 16, you can apply for what was called DACA, which is Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals, which that did apply to me because my mom brought me to the States. I was 7 years old. I'm 22 at the point. So that's how I was able to even get a fucking social security number. I was able to get a job on paper, not in the clubs or whatever like that. I was able to get a car because I couldn't get a license. Like, it was just a lot of shit I was able to do. But they were like, because you got pulled over that day and your name got put in the system, they had no birth certificate for you. It's not nothing American. So they thought I swam over there on a fucking floating mattress. And it was just like, yeah. There was like, but they had all my school records and stuff. There was like, the guy was driving. He was like, well, yeah, you got good grades and this and that. You went to Lathrop and all this. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know all this? He's like, I'm Homeland Security. You know all this information. Like, I'm talking about, he knew my biological dad's name on my Jamaican birth certificate. I'm like, he was like, yeah, your dad's name is Winston, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that? I'm like, no one knows that dad. The dad that they know is the dad that you saw on my Instagram. That's my stepdad. Mm-hmm. That's my dad. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, long story short, I called my homegirl. I'm like, bitch, I need you to come get my truck. I'm not leaving here in front of this courthouse. They're going to tow it, blah, blah, blah. I just got it out the damn thing 2 months ago. Please come get it. She ends up getting it. I end up going to fucking jail or whatever. 2 weeks turned into 3 months, and now I'm here. But when I got out of jail, I stayed in Windsor for 2 weeks because my plan was to come back because my judge said, oh, you'll be able to come back. You just can only stay for 60 days at a time. I'm like, all right, cool. In my mind, that's what I was just going to do. I was just going to come be in Detroit for 60 days at a time, come back, probably stay with my grandma for like a week or two, or stay at a hotel, whatever like that, and come back. I was just gonna like live like that. But I tried to come back, and they were like, oh no, basically they was trying to say what my judge said wasn't right or whatever. So they, because they knew that I was working, I had a regular job and stuff, they were like, well, you're basically not admissible because you're going to come back here and try to work and do that. They really have something against people not being from the country working and making money. It's really weird. Like, it was a guy in there that was like, I'm talking about it looks could kill. A white man, like, just looking at me, like, he was so disgusted. Like, you're coming back to what, visit? I'm like, I never visited. I was living here. Like, don't try to play me. Like, I know I wasn't born here, but I wasn't a visitor. Like, don't play me. Like, he was just, I'm talking like looks could kill. He was so irritated at the fact that I just was not an American citizen. Like, he wasn't even the guy that I was dealing with. I was dealing with a whole nother person, but he would just walk by and just look at me like dirty. And it was like crazy. Like, why are you so mad, sir? Like, I'm not even, you're not even helping me. Like, he just heard other country, Caribbean, oh, you're not from here. And oh, you just here to try to come back and like work and take our money. I'm like, nigga, I'm pretty sure you don't even work as hard as you're trying to make it seem. Like, y'all don't. So stop. Like, you don't even know what hard work is. You would die if you had to work 3 jobs or cut someone's grass. Like, pipe down. Like, but yeah, so they were like, this was in 2016, I remember. And they were like, yeah, 5 years. I was like, well, I'll take 5 instead of 10. Cause I'm like, well, what the fuck is the difference? And because my lawyer was telling me, he's like, well, deported could be anywhere from 10 to indefinite years, 10 years to indefinite. But departed, so basically what I did was I did appeal my shit, I think, twice. And then after the 3rd time, when the judge was like, when my dad came, I had character witnesses, I had everything you could do that they needed me to have. I had it. But to be honest, I kind of just think it was because I was Black, because I was in jail with another girl who was immigration too, but she was from Poland, I think, but she was white, obviously. First of all, let me just tell you, that was my first misdemeanor ever. I ain't never had nothing else after that. This bitch had 8 misdemeanors. All
it's a felony.
I'm like, you got 8 misdemeanors? You got 8 of them? Like, and when she came back, she's like, oh yeah, I get to stay in the country, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the fuck? They said I was a danger to society, a danger to the, what did the damn prosecutors say I was? We think she's a danger to the community. I'm like, me? Like, me a danger to the community? They were like, yeah, nah, 5 years, fam. I mean, they were like, nah, you can't go back. I didn't find out about the 5 years until I tried to cross the border. Because when I got out of jail, I'm like, okay, my mom's like, just stay in Windsor. We'll get you a hotel for like 2 weeks so you don't just go right back. And they look at like, damn, you could have waited 48 hours. I stayed 2 weeks. But then that's when they told me like, oh, no, because of all this information. They had me in there from 9 a.m. to like 7 p.m. Asking me questions. I was in that motherfucker sleep. I took like 3 naps within that time. Like, yeah. I'm like, everybody want to be fun until you get deported and you got to go through all this shit. It's not fun.
So you over there by yourself?
My grandmother and my mom lives here, but my mom and I don't speak. We don't have a relationship. And my grandmother, I talk to her, but I don't see her like that because she's older. And she's like, no, come over, Corona, blah, blah, blah. I'm old. And I'm like, okay. And my grandmother was here too, but he died back in September. So it's just me and my mom and my grandma, but it's really just me.
You had a life. You got a life on you.
Yeah, a lot of people. Like, so what made you move to Canada? I got deported. Y'all faces, I wish I should have screen recorded. Like,
it is.
That was the funniest shit I ever seen.
It is screen recorded.
It's still being recorded.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You like, wait, can you talk about it? I'm like, no, it's fine. I got deported. You said, she was like, and I was just like, that's my life.
Oh man.
But let me tell y'all the fucked up part though. Well, the almost fucked up part. Because I'm Jamaican citizen by birth, he was trying to send me back to Jamaica. I ain't lived in Jamaica since I was fucking 3 years old. I don't even know anybody over there except for my little brother. I said, hold on now. I'm a Canadian citizen. My passport is Canadian citizen. Like, it's Canadian. Because I have a Jamaican passport too, but that doesn't really go help because I can't fly to fucking, I can only fly to Jamaica with it. It's not like one of those passports that you can go anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. So it's like pointless for me to have my Jamaican passport. But it's like, so the judge, my lawyer was like, but she's a Canadian citizen. You gonna send her all the way back to Jamaica? My heart was beating. Right. I'm like, yo. I'm like, I love Jamaica. It's a pretty place and it's beautiful. It's my birthplace. Like, my household, my mom didn't raise me to be like, but damn, what am I gonna do there? Like, I don't even got like a little type of like, you know what I mean? So it was like, and then he was like, oh, well, I guess she does have this and that, and she is citizen, so we could just gonna send her to Canada instead. I'm like, yeah, don't try to hoe me. But yeah,
life.
But my ban is up in 9 months, y'all. So
that's all right.
Yeah. Yes, I don't plan on moving back, but I just want the flexibility to visit back and forth. My dad still lives over there. Yeah, like, I mean, I can go anywhere else in the world. I just can't go to America, so I don't really care. But it's just that I want the flexibility to be able to go back and forth, just in case if something happens to my dad. I would probably just jump off a bridge if I couldn't even go to anything that got to do with him. Yeah, like my cousin actually got murdered back in April, and I couldn't even. Like my little cousin, like, so it was just weird. Like, I can't even go pull up on my auntie and uncle and his sisters to like check on my cousins and shit because I'm stuck over here like a fugitive. But yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. I was an immigrant the whole time. You ain't even know it.
You need to write a book.
Man, listen. No, I have a lot of like stuff. Like when I be telling people like certain things, like even that, and I actually explain it, and then I go into like other parts of my life. I'm like, you're not as boring as you claim to be. Like, bitch, you got a little story. Like, just
boring. You are not boring.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you know, like, I don't be giving myself no credit for real, because I don't think I'm.
You better stop that.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm working on it. That's one of my things I'm gonna talk to my therapist about, because I don't try to do it. I think subconsciously I just always do it, but I don't know. I feel like when you got a mom, or like you be in relationships where people criticize you and put you down and pick apart every little thing you do and say you ain't gonna be shit. Oh, you want to do this? That's your job, ain't shit. That ain't it. Like, it makes you.
You know what?
When you do have a good idea, because you've been put down so much, you do it yourself. You're like, oh well, maybe not. Like, I find myself doing that a lot. So
most people are detached from their emotions, and think it's cool to be detached from their emotions.
That is true. It's like, as soon as I'll be like, well, I feel like this, it's like, oh my God, you and your feelings, you something. It's like, all I said was I ain't like that. Like, damn, it's not that deep. Like, well, if that was me, I would have did it like that. I'm like, but I'm not you. And you're an evil bitch. So I'm not that. Like, I'm never gonna be that. Like, even when I try to be, it's just not my character. Like, naturally, that's just, even when I be trying to be the devil, that shit don't work because it ain't in my character.